I raised my son, Daniel, alone after his father passed away. Every ounce of my energy went into making sure he had the life he deserved: education, kindness, and respect for others. When he told me he'd met someone special, I was genuinely happy. He said her name was Alyssa, and from the way he spoke about her, I could tell he was in love. I was excited to meet the woman who had captured my son's heart. But from the first moment I met her, something in me hesitated. Alyssa was polite on the surface, but there was an undertone in her tone. A faint arrogance, the kind that hides behind sweet smiles. I brushed it off. Every new relationship takes time. I wanted to believe love would smooth any rough edges between us. The wedding came faster than I expected. Everything was grand, the kind of event that made headlines in small-town papers. The decorations sparkled, the guests looked perfect, and the photographers moved around like they were filming a royal event. I arrived early, wearing a simple but elegant silver gown. Daniel saw me and smiled with pride. "You look beautiful, Mom," he said, and that alone made my heart full. But then Alyssa appeared. She was stunning, yes, but her beauty came with a coldness that could chill a room. She gave me a tight smile, and when she thought no one was looking, I saw her eyes roll. That was the moment I realized I was more of an inconvenience than family to her. As the ceremony began, I stayed quiet, trying to focus on Daniel's happiness. That's all that mattered. But as the evening unfolded, the little jabs began. Alyssa's friends whispered things that I could hear. Snide comments about my dress, my shoes, my age. I ignored them all. I told myself, this is Daniel's big day. Do not make a scene. When it came time for the toasts, I took the microphone. My voice trembled a little, but I spoke from the heart. I talked about Daniel's childhood, about how proud his father would have been to see him become such a kind man. I ended with a small emotional smile and said, "Alyssa, you're lucky to have him, but even luckier to be part of this family." The guests clapped, and I felt relief wash over me. But then Alyssa stood. She took the microphone from my hand, her smile wide but eyes sharp. "Oh, Mrs. Lawson," she said sweetly, "that was cute. But maybe next time, try not to make it about yourself." The room fell silent. I blinked, trying to process what just happened. Then, before I could step away, she turned toward me, and in front of everyone, she slapped my hand hard enough that my bracelet flew across the floor. "You've had your turn to shine," she said through clenched teeth. "This is my day." The crowd gasped. I could hear the murmurs, feel the cameras turning, the whispers spreading like fire. I stood frozen, my heart breaking not from pain, but humiliation. My son's bride had just humiliated me in front of everyone we knew. I looked at Daniel. His face was pale, his mouth open, but before he could speak, the wedding coordinator rushed over to calm the scene. I stepped back quietly, holding back tears. I told myself to breathe, to hold on, to not ruin my son's moment. But deep down, something inside me broke. I left the hall quietly after dinner, my steps heavy, my soul heavier. I didn't sleep that night. Every replay of the evening stung like salt in a wound. I kept seeing Alyssa's face, that smirk, the flash of the cameras, the way people avoided eye contact as if pitying me. But what I didn't know then was that fate had its own way of turning tables. 2 days later, a friend from the catering team called me. "You should check the wedding videos," she said carefully. "There's something you need to see." My hands trembled as I opened the video link she sent. It was the raw footage from the event, the one captured by the professional team and the social media livestream. The video began with my toast, and I watched as the moment played out again. But then I noticed something the crowd hadn't seen. Just before she took the microphone, Alyssa's face changed. She looked at one of her bridesmaids and whispered, "Watch this. She's going to learn who runs this family now." The camera caught it perfectly, her expression, her tone, everything. Then came the slap. The audience gasped, my stunned silence, Daniel's horrified face. It was all there. The team had been streaming parts of the event live to social media. By the next morning, the clip had gone viral. Thousands of people were watching and commenting. "How could she treat her mother-in-law like that?" one comment said. "That poor woman raised her son with love and respect, and this is how she's treated." The internet didn't just notice, it reacted. Alyssa's carefully crafted image as a sweet and humble bride began to crumble. Her sponsorship deals, because yes, she was an influencer, started dropping one by one. Brands didn't want to be associated with someone seen as cruel and disrespectful. The very cameras she loved so much, the ones she posed for, had captured the moment that would haunt her. The perfect image shattered in front of the world. A week later, Daniel came to see me. His eyes were tired, his voice quiet. "Mom," he said. "I didn't know she planned that. I swear I didn't." I could see the pain in his face, the kind of pain that comes from betrayal and regret. "I saw the footage," he continued. "I've ended it. She's leaving. I can't be with someone who disrespects my mother like that." My heart ached for him, but in that moment, I also felt an odd peace. Not because she faced consequences, but because truth had spoken louder than any words I could have said. I didn't need revenge. Life had already delivered it. Weeks passed and slowly, my world found calm again. I went back to my garden, my small circle of friends, and my quiet evenings with tea and old photographs. Every now and then, I'd see Alyssa's name pop up online, apology videos, tearful statements about how stress made her act out. But the internet has a long memory. Once respect is lost, it rarely returns. She had tried to humiliate me, to make me small on a day that was meant for love, but she forgot that dignity never needs to shout. It stands tall, even when it's broken. So when people ask me what happened that day, I tell them this. Sometimes you don't need to fight back. Sometimes the world has a way of recording everything. And when the cameras turn, masks fall. The same light that exposes others will also illuminate your truth.